fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fellow. Hi-yo, Silver! Hi!
The Lone Ranger and Tonto had been riding for several days on the South Trail toward the ranch that belonged to their friends Clarabelle Hornblow and Thunder Martin. The two men talked as they rode.
Why you think Clarabelle and Thunder send for you, Kemosabe?
I don't know, Tonto. They must have something important to discuss.
Oh, that's right.
The last time we heard from them, they had a large herd of horses.
Ah, horses bring big price now. Them figure to make plenty money dealing in horses.
Well, the war depleted the horse supply. This is a good time to raise and sell them.
That's right.
Let's hurry a bit so that we can get there before sundown. Come on, Silver.
Get 'em up, Scout.
It was dusk when the Lone Ranger and Tonto drew rein in front of the Bar-Y Ranch house.
Oh, Silver. Oh,
Scout,
easy.
fella.
Easy, big fella.
Easy, Scout. Easy, fella.
Well, what can I do for you? Who do you think? Say, am I glad to see you. And Tonto,
How are you, Clarabelle?
Oh.
come in. Come on in.
Thanks.
Thunder, they're here. Thunder!
Well, howdy.
Howdy,
Oh,
Thunder.
Thunder.
Clarabelle's been as touchy as a tea snake waiting for you to get here.
Oh, shut up, Thunder. You ain't even got the sense you was born with.
It's sure good to see both of you. Mighty good.
Oh, thanks, Thunder. Tonto and I started out as soon as we got the message.
I'm sure glad of that.
Sure, well, we figured if we could get a hold of you, you could straighten things out.
We'll do what we can.
Oh, I knew you would. Now, you and Tonto sit down and rest your bones a bit while I rustle up some victuals. Thunder can start telling you what it's all about.
Sit down.
Thanks. I admit, Thunder, we're both curious.
That's right.
Well, I'll get right to the point then.
Good. Go on, Thunder.
Well, I reckon you know me and Clarabelle's been raising horses and getting a good price for them.
Yeah?
Well, during the past month, the rustlers have taken nigh on to 150 of our best horses off the West Range. Pick out the best of the lot each time.
I see.
That's not good.
Oh, you're right, Tonto. It ain't good. And the worst of it is we can't pick up the trail. Might as well try to find hair on a frog. You know, Clarabelle's fit to be tied over the whole thing. And she's on my neck about it from morning till night. Why, you'd think I was running them off by myself or something.
No reason why she should blame you.
Oh, she blames me for anything that goes wrong around here. Treats me like a wet dog at a parlor social.
You should be used to Clarabelle by this time, Gander.
Yeah, it's like trying to get used to a cyclone. You never know when it's going to knock you off your feet. Well, anyway, I'd sure like to get a line on them stolen horses.
Well, Tonto and I'll do all we can to help. After supper, I'll ride over to the West Range while you and Tonto go to town and see if you can get any news.
Meantime, in a small ranch house a few miles from the Bar Y, Lou Cross, a rough, heavy-set man, looked up as one of his men entered.
Hi, Pete. How are the men coming along with that last lot of horses?
Fine, Lou. Got most of the brands changed to the Bar X. Don't take much to do it by using a running iron and adding a short line to the Y on that Bar Y brand.
Good. But having them hid out in Eagle Basin's too close for comfort. Want to get them branded and moved out of there within 24 hours. I'm meeting a buyer at the cafe in town tonight. If we make a deal, we'll drive those horses to Gray Ridge where he'll pick them up.
It'll be a relief to get them sold and out of the way. Anyway, me and the boys can use some cash about now.
Yeah, I know. Those horses will bring a good price. We took the best out of both herds.
That's right. We got a fine bunch of them. Don't let that buyer cut you on the price.
You can leave that to me. Nobody ever gets the best of a bargain with Lou Cross. You can just bet on that. I'll be getting on to town now. I want to get to Dry Rock before that buyer does. He might begin to ask a lot of questions.
Later that evening, Thunder Martin and Tonto arrived in town and went to the cafe. They stood at the back where they'd be inconspicuous and looked over the crowd. Tonto's interest was aroused by a conversation going on at a nearby table.
I'm sure we can come to terms, Mr. Henley. If you bargain for the whole lot, maybe I can manage to cut the price per head.
How many did you say they were in the lot?
Close to 175, and all with the Bar X brand. Every horse is fine stock, as sound as they come.
Them make talk about selling horses.
Yeah, I've been listening. He's
$50 a
lucky
head.
nobody rustled his herd like they did ours.
That suits me all right. Have them in Gray Ridge by day after tomorrow. I'll have the cash ready for you.
All right, sir. It's a deal, Henley. You can count on us having those horses there. Come on, I'll walk as far as the hotel with you.
Yeah, fine.
Who man that have horses to sell?
Well, I don't know, Tonto, but I heard him say something about the Bar X Ranch. He must be the owner.
That's right. We go back to ranch now, huh?
Might as well. We didn't find out anything here. Well, let's go, Tonto.
Hiya, Thunder. Clarabelle let you out?
Why, you lop-eared sort? Oh, what's the use?
Easy, Scout. Easy, fella. Get him up, Scout.
Get up there.
Meanwhile, the Lone Ranger and Clarabelle had ridden to the West Range to look things over.
Ho, fella, ho.
Did you look for tracks, Clarabelle? A large number of horses like that should be easy to trail.
Oh, sure. The sheriff come out here with a posse. We found that the tracks led into the creek over yonder. From there on, the trail is lost. Creek's shallow enough for him to drive those horses for miles in the water.
I see. Well, in the morning, Tonto and I'll ride along the creek in each direction and see if we can pick up the trail someplace.
That's what the sheriff and the men did. But they couldn't find anything. Maybe you and Tonto can do better than they did, though.
We'll do our best anyway. Well, shall we ride back to the ranch now?
Yep, might as well. Let's get going.
Come on, Silver.
Get up, boy.
Later, in Thunder Martin's cabin behind the Bar Y ranch house, where the Lone Ranger and Tonto were to stay for the night, Tonto spoke of the conversation he and Thunder had overheard at the cafe.
We hear men talk in cafe, Kimasabi.
Yes? What did you hear, Tonto?
Well, one fella talked to another about
selling horses. They make deal for 175 head.
Well, that's quite a herd. Anyone you know, Thunder?
Nope, but I've heard of the ranch he come from, the Bar X. It's a few miles east of here.
I see. The Bar X, huh?
Me just thinking, Kimasabi.
Oh?
It'd be easy to change Bar Y brand to Bar X. And feller not look like regular rancher.
But no use getting suspicious, Tonto. The Bar X is a legitimate brand, all right.
Why didn't you recognize the owner of the Bar X, Thunder, if the ranch is only a few miles from here?
Well, it seems as how the ranch was sold at auction about 6 months ago. I never met the new owner.
Oh. Well, let's turn in. Tonto and I are getting up early to try to pick up the trail of the rustlers along the creek.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto set out early the next morning and rode the trail toward the creek.
Tonto, I've been thinking about what you told me last night. Before we try to pick up the trail at the creek, we'll ride by the Bar X spread and have a look at it.
Me not like looks a new owner.
That's what made me decide to investigate. That and the remark you made about how easy it would be to change the brand.
It take only small mark with running iron to make change.
Yes, that's right. According to what Clarabelle says, the Bar Y ranch is the only one to be hit by the rustlers. Yet other ranches in the vicinity have large herds of horses.
It's strange rustlers not take some of their horses.
Yes. Oh, that must be the Bar X ranch up ahead, Tonto. Thunder said it was on this trail.
It not look like good ranch.
Badly run down. There doesn't seem to be any livestock around.
That's right. Me see long way across range. Not see any livestock.
Well, you'd better not ride any closer. I'm going to find out as much as I can about the Bar X and about its owner. Let's turn off here, Tonto, and go to the creek now. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
A few minutes after the Lone Ranger and Tonto turned off and rode along the side trail toward the creek, Pete, the man who worked for Lou Cross, hurriedly entered the ranch house.
Hey, Lou, I just saw something that might interest you.
Yeah? What'd you see to interest me or anyone else this early in the morning?
A couple of hombres rode up to the edge of the spread and sat there looking things over. Then they turned and rode off down the trail toward the creek.
Well, what of it?
Just this. One of them was wearing a black mask and riding a big white stallion. The other one was an Indian on a paint.
Wait a minute. You say one of them wore a mask and rode a white stallion, huh?
Yeah. I wonder if you're thinking what I am.
Yep, if you're thinking it was the hombre known as the Lone Ranger and that Indian friend of his.
That's right. And if they're here snooping around, it means trouble.
Sure does, Pete. You say they rode toward the creek.
Yeah.
Come on. We'll get a couple of the men, go over that way. They won't be expecting us, so we'll get a line on them. And we'll hide till they come along and shoot them down from ambush.
After the Lone Ranger had left the Bar Y ranch, Clarabelle and Thunder Martin sat in the kitchen having more coffee. Seeming to make a decision, Clarabelle pounded the table with her fist and spoke.
By Jiminy Thunder, what you just told me about that Bar X and what the Lone Ranger and Tonto were thinking, I'm beginning to get the same idea they got.
I'll see here, Clarabelle.
Anyway, it's downright ornery of us to sit here waiting while those friends of ours go out hunting trouble.
Well, what is it you want to do?
Do? Why, you dim-witted, lazy galoot. Did it ever occur to you that you might have offered to ride along with them in case they ran into trouble?
Now, after all, Clarabelle, them two has always been able to take care of themselves. I didn't think there was any need for me to go treading along.
You didn't think. You never do. That's what's the matter with you. Get up, you muscle-bound maverick, and get a horse.
Sure, Clarabelle. But what do we want our horses for right now?
Because I decided we're going to ride over to the creek and see if we can meet them and give them some help. That's why.
Oh.
Now don't stand there gawking. Get a move on. And get them horses pronto.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. to continue our story. The Lone Ranger and Tonto rode leisurely along the creek trail, looking closely at the banks for hoof marks in hopes of finding the place where the herd of stolen horses had been driven from the shallow water. They were slowly approaching a place along the trail where there was an arroyo on one side, and they couldn't see the four men waiting there with drawn guns and with handkerchiefs covering part of their faces. A light breeze was blowing from behind them, so that even the sharp-eared and keen-nosed Silver had no warning of what was waiting up ahead.
Well, so far we've found nothing, Tonto. Of course, if the trail had been easy to spot, the sheriff and his men would have found it.
That right, Kimasabi?
We'll ride on further and continue to hunt.
Ah. Maybe where creek bank get rocky, them take horses out.
Could be. If we look sharply, we might be able to find the trail they left, even though the posse didn't.
That right. Me think maybe if them... Look, coming across range. It's Clarabelle and Thunder.
She seemed to call a warning, Tonto. We'll stop. Whistle.
Oh, fella.
So that's it.
Shots come from Arroyo up ahead.
Throw a few shots that way, Tonto.
Clarabelle and Thunder shoot at them, too.
They're leaving. Looks like four of them.
That's right.
Whoa there, whoa! We cut across the range to join you. We saw those varmints aiming to shoot you down from the cover of that arroyo.
Yeah, we ought to get after them, the dirty coyotes.
I don't know. Follow their trail.
Not without us, you won't. If you're going up against trouble, me and Thunder are going to trail along with you.
That's right. I'd like to get my hands on one of those ornery critters for about 2 minutes.
Well, maybe you'll get the chance, Thunder. Let's get going. Come on, Silver.
Get 'em up,
Get up there.
What are we stopping here for, Lou?
Yeah, we better keep going.
That masked man will be plenty riled up because we tried to gun him down.
Oh, you don't know who we were. Hadn't it been for that crazy woman yelling out, we'd have plugged them both, him and the Indian, cold.
Yeah, she sure spoiled everything. We were lucky none of us got hit the way they were throwing lead our way.
Riding so hard spoiled their aim. Pete, I'll take Rusty and Joe with me to the basin where the horses are. I want you to go to the ranch.
What for?
See if any of the men are there. Tell them to come right over to the basin. We got to drive those horses out right away and get them started at Gray Ridge.
All right, I'll join you later then. Get it.
Now, you two come along with me. When Pete gets to the basin, we start the drive. Reckon most of the horses are branded by this time.
Right.
Get up!
Get up! Get up!
Following the trail left by the men who had tried to ambush him and Tonto, the Lone Ranger with Tonto, Clarabelle, and Thunder reached the spot where the Bar X hands had stopped a short time before.
Those are
fella.
Those men stopped here where they trailed branches.
Ah. And one of them turn off. Go that way toward Bar X Ranch.
Yes, so I noticed. I'm beginning to put two and two together, Tonto. What we spoke of last night ties in with what happened today.
You mean the owner of the Bar X might be the one who's been stealing our horses?
Yes, I had that idea in mind.
Why, that dirty, sneaking coyote. Thunder, you and me will ride to that ranch and we'll...
No, wait, Clarabelle. That wouldn't do any good. We'll follow the trail that goes off into the hills, the one the other three followed. I suggest that you go to town and bring the sheriff out here. You can follow our trail.
You mean I'm to miss the fun if you happen to find those sneaking killers?
There might be more shooting, Clarabelle.
Well, that's exactly what I mean. Bet I can outshoot any one of them when it comes to that.
I'm sure you can. But if you want to get your horses back, you better follow my plan.
Well, all right. I'll go get the sheriff and we'll follow you.
Good enough.
Get up there.
Now let's go. Come on, Silver.
Come on,
Later that morning, Lou Cross and the two men with him arrived at Eagle Basin, where others were still busy changing the Bar Y brands to the X with a running iron.
Oh, I was hoping they'd be all through with those brands by this time.
We only have a few more to do, boss.
Yeah, that's right. All but 20 were finished last night.
Yeah, that's another one done.
How many more left now, Jed?
Oh, hello, boss. Oh, about 10, I reckon.
Well, hurry it up. There's an hombre around here who might catch up with us.
You mean the lawman? Then he might trail you here to the basin?
He works with the law. It's a masked hombre called the Lone Ranger.
What?
Holy smoke.
Hey, you know, Lou, I just thought. Maybe he will follow our trail here.
Hey, might at that. You take Joe and go guard the pass into the basin, Rusty. And if you see that masked man or the Indian, gun him down.
Sure. Come on, Joe. Leave our horses here and walk to the pass over there.
All right.
Let's go.
As the trail the Lone Ranger and the others with him were following approached the pass into the basin, the masked man called a halt.
What are we stopping for?
I recognize where we are, Thunder. Just around the bend in the trail ahead, there's a narrow pass into Eagle Basin.
Yeah, that's right.
The men we followed came this way. That could mean they had the horses hidden there.
Say, I never thought of that. It'd sure be a good place to hide them out.
That's right. I figure they'll have guards at the pass, so we'll leave our horses over there in a clump of trees. Then Tonto and I'll cut off to each side and approach the pass on foot.
What do you want me to do?
You stay here until Clarabelle comes along with the sheriff and the posse. Have them wait until they hear 2 shots, then come to the pass in a hurry.
Just as you say.
Now, let's dismount, Tonto. Easy, big fella. Take Silver and scout to that clump of trees, Thunder.
Yeah.
That'll be good cover for you until you spot the posse.
All right. Come on, boys. Get it back.
Tonto, you go to the left. I'll circle around on foot to the right. Try to come up behind anyone you might see guarding the pass.
Me ready.
Good. Let's get started.
Using the rocks and bushes for cover, the Lone Ranger and Tonto moved in from either side toward the pass into the basin. As the masked man neared the entrance, he saw one of the men seated on a rock and watching the trail. Across and a little nearer the pass, he saw the other standing near a tree. He waited patiently until his keen eyes detected Tonto moving like a shadow from rock to rock, until he was almost upon the guard who leaned against the tree. Then the Lone Ranger dropped down and crawled quietly up behind the rustler seated on the rock. Suddenly, he saw the flash of Tonto's gun butt as the wary Indian brought it down on the guard's head.
Hey, what the...
Quiet, you.
Oh!
We got them both. Tonto.
Come here, Kemosabe. Look in the basin.
Moving quickly over to Tonto's side, the Lone Ranger looked where Tonto pointed.
The stolen horses. Men are using a running iron on one of them.
Make sure them stolen horses. What we do now, Kemosabe?
Sheriff and the posse must be there by now. I'll give the signal of 2 shots for them to come here. And we'll keep anyone from coming out. This is the only way out of Eagle Basin. All right, here goes.
Rustlers run to get on horses. Then try to get out. If Sheriff don't come...
Have your guns ready, Tonto. We'll try to keep them inside.
Look, Sheriff and posse come now, Kemosabe. Then bring Silver and Scout.
Here we are. What great day. Look, all my horses in there.
So this is the masked man you were telling me about, huh? How are we going to get in there after him, mister?
Send some of your men to the rim of the basin, Sheriff. The rest of us will stay here. When they see they haven't a chance, they'll give up.
All right. Some of you men get up there to the rim of the basin, pronto. Cover what men you see down in the basin. And if they won't give up, we'll let them have it.
We'll get him, Sheriff. That's right. Come on, let's get up there right away.
Hey, they're firing at us. Give them some lead, men.
The horses are stampeding, coming out this way through the pass.
Yeah, them coyotes will try to ride out with them before my men have a chance to get up to the rim. Here they come. Watch out, everybody.
There, follow me here talking Capel last night. Him riding in the middle of the herd to get away.
He got through. He's breaking away from the herd and heading down trail. Easy, steady, big fella. Come on, Silver!
Taking advantage of the stampeding herd of horses, Luke Cross, who had still been in the saddle, galloped his horse along with the first of the herd to go through the pass. Then, breaking away, he headed down along the trail. The Lone Ranger was determined to catch the leader of the gang and urged Silver onward.
Come on, Silver! Faster, big fella!
Lou emptied his gun at the masked figure following him. Then, holstering his gun, he gave his attention to outrunning his pursuer. But Silver was more than a match for the horse Lou rode, and gradually closed the distance between them until the Lone Ranger rode alongside. Then, with a mighty effort, the masked man leaped toward the other.
I want you, mister!
No, wait.
Get up!
Look, wait a minute.
It'll give me a lot of satisfaction.
No!
Take it!
You all right, Kemosabe?
Yes, Tonto. There's your man, Clarabelle.
You call that a man?
Why, he's the one who owns the Bar X Ranch, such as it is.
Yeah, they were changing the brands, all right. We found a couple of the strays from the herd that still had the Bar Y brand. Well, we got the whole gang, too.
Good. Thought I we'll go now. Start rounding up the horses. We'll see you in Thunder later, Clarabelle.
For sure. Come to the ranch house and have supper with us. We'll be expecting you both.
Thanks, we'll be there. Adios.
Adios.
Come on, fellow.
Get him up, Scout.
Yeah, you sure are lucky to have friends like that.
Yep, we sure are, Sheriff. You know, he always does a good job at tracking down no good yellow-livered crooks like these rustlers, but he doesn't hang around after the job is done.
That's right, he doesn't. I knew he'd find that gang and those stolen horses if I sent for him. And he did right enough.
Yep, he did all right. He gave that fella Lou Cross a good going over, too. Well, we'll see if they all get what's coming to them. Oh, by the way, Clarabelle, what's the name of that masked friend of yours, anyway? Don't tell us he's somebody who's about to cut thunder out in your affection.
Why, he's smarter than you, Sheriff, and far more of a man than Thunder Martin will ever be.
Oh, Clarabelle.
Don't you Clarabelle me. Anybody'd know what I say is true when they know that masked hombre's the Lone Ranger.
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created and produced by George W. Trendle, directed by Charles D. Livingston, and edited by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer.
You've been listening to the OTR Gold Network. Find more classic radio at otrgold.com.